Nobody's listening, right? Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
I'm so excited. We get to talk to each other for an hour.
Yeah.
As though no one were listening.
Mm-hmm.
And let's really do it, you know?
Yeah.
Let's talk the way we do when no one's around.
We sure did on last month's Patreon that just dropped.
We did. Yes. We really forgot that we were recording it. And that's also this week's sponsor is my butt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. It's patreon.com/nobody's listening right.
Oh, yeah.
I am loving this fall weather.
Do you want to know if anyone's listening?
Oh, yes. I do, yeah.
Kristen on Spotify commented from last week's episode, gotta go in for a second listen on this one. So many LOL moments. Y'all were Delulu. And I love it.
We are Delulu.
I never heard Delulu.
I love that. I want to adopt Delulu.
Done.
Thank you. What's her name?
Kristen.
Kristen. Did you know Kristen's growing up?
Yeah.
I knew
Kristen's
some...
always growing up, you know? She's growing up. Every Kristen I've ever met
stupid.
Is growing up. You know what I mean?
I had a really good friend growing up, Kristen. I wonder what's up with her. Should look her up.
Look her up right now. Let's see.
Okay. Oh my gosh, because this is when I lived in East Bay, San Francisco.
Great. Let's give even more locating information so we can dox her. Great.
No. But, you know, I moved when I was 10. So it's like I had this whole life and friendships and stuff that...
Vanished. Poof.
Vanished. Oh my God. Is this her? This is so... Oh, no, that's not her. Well, to be just... So I did look up a Kristen...
Yeah.
Who does amazing stained glass art.
Oh, sick. But you don't think it's the same lady?
Not the same one, but what if everything was leading me to this, you know?
In what way?
I finally... I looked up the wrong person, but I am so taken by this other Kristen's artwork. Because... I don't know.
Maybe. That's kind of odd,
so.
Though. Yeah. And then you're like, I'm now going to do stained glass. You just started with oil painting, one step at a time.
Yeah.
You know, though, stained glass is in my lineage.
Well, I do know that. There's a special love I have for stained glass because it's meaningful to you.
It's in my lineage. It's in my blood.
Speak to that.
My grandfather, my mom's father, great at doing stained glass, was one of his passions. Bear? Yeah, Papa Bear. Passion of Papa Bear. Papa Bear's passion.
You have a little...
It's hard not to when you say Papa Bear passion.
So, and like what kind of stuff did he do? Do you remember seeing him doing it?
I think I saw the area where he would do it, but I don't recall ever watching him do it. Okay. But I saw the stuff. And then he would give us like a new stained glass piece that he made like every time we would see him. So we had a stained glass thing hanging in most of the windows of our house.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool. And like, what a cool hobby. My brother got into it for a little bit. I wonder, I should see if when the last time my brother's done it. I bet that will rekindle for my brother. It's kind of it's fun.
That seems cool. I don't know like the first thing about it. I have no knowledge of it, but I do know going into these beautiful old churches and synagogues and things like that where there's the real old school stained glass.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
It really is.
And how many cuts they must have gotten to make those. How many fingers gone.
You know how
slashes.
I've said before that
breaks.
Like new churches need to step it up.
Yes.
Because the old school was so impressive, right?
Yes, they really went all balls to the wall on those old churches.
Well, when I was in Boise, I saw a magnificent church.
Well, is this the one you were talking about last week?
No, I did try calling again today. it seems like our hours are off. I'm going to get a hold of them. I
Okay,
have a list
so
of the office hours now.
Please
I've called
don't
once.
forget.
I'm not.
Don't
It's
let
on
this
my
turn
to-do
into
list.
the Heinz documentary where it just
Okay,
goes.
this is I'm going to make a phone call to a church. Don't worry about it. I'm on it. It's on my to-do list. I've tried once. I've called 3 times.
Okay.
I've realized now that one of the times I called was outside of office hours.
Uh-huh.
The other time was in office hours, but probably during a service. So I don't know how that works, how many people are in the office. And then the other time I called and they didn't pick up. But it's on. I have a list of the office hours now.
Okay.
And they're not traditional 9 to 5 hours, as it were.
They're not?
They're a little different when you're dealing with the Lord.
Are they? Wait, can you tell me what they are? How are they different? What are the office hours?
They're on my phone. I don't know. It's something like...
Is it because Leslie's only in there for part of the days and Janice is only in there for part of the... Is it like real spotty?
Here's what I don't know. This is my hope, though, is that just by chance, the question I have to do is about one of the things that the father does during the sermon. And
is it a Catholic
or the pastor?
church?
Yeah, it's Catholic.
Father, I
Pastor
could
or
probably
father?
tell you.
No, I want to get my own info first.
I'm a little like, I know Catholic masses.
This is specific to this church. Maybe not just this church. It might happen at some others. But I need to ask this church before we talk about it.
About something that happens during Mass?
Yeah, it's a way that he conducts his Mass.
Because you went to one?
No, because we heard a rumor about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fun.
And my hope would be, dream of dreams, somehow Father John or whatever picks up the phone.
It's likely Father John. Yeah.
Or if he's next to Leslie, is that what you said?
Leslie or Janice, depending on whose shift it is.
And Leslie or Janice says, oh, he's right here. You can ask him. And I can be like, tell me about that. Like, what's the deal with why that choice? I'm intrigued.
And are you going to say, look, I heard I'm Jewish.
Well, I did think.
And I heard rumors around Boise that you conduct your Mass this way.
You know
like,
what?
what are you going to say? I'm not a parishioner. In fact, far from it.
It's almost as absurd as you're making it sound, but I think I can execute in a way that it's like not weird at all. I think I'm going to say.
Are you going to act like the way, how I did when I was talking to the Christians at that wedding and I suddenly became very throwing around the word blessed and stuff? No. Are you going to act like you're interested maybe? Like,
well, no, I am very interested. I'm very curious about the answer to this.
I know, but like also if he engages with you on this, almost like your heart's being called to ask these questions because maybe you're being summoned by the Lord.
Oh, that feels disingenuous.
I know, but you might get what you want. And
I
by the way,
see any world in which they wouldn't answer this question.
I don't think you need to worry all that much about being a little disingenuous with the Catholic Church.
Wait. Oh, well, good. Yeah, good point. But that's not how I roll. I'm not looting during the riot just because other people are looting. It seems like you're a looter.
Well, shit's going down.
Wow, I just watched you think of that. You didn't even try to be like, no, of course I wouldn't. You're like, I'll probably loot.
No, I don't know.
Hold on, would we be looters?
Honestly, I'll tell you why I wouldn't. And this is bringing this whole conversation full circle. I don't like broken glass. I'm scared of yeah. And I feel like looting there are always jagged edges of glass involved.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No, yeah,
so
agree with
I don't
that.
want to get close to that.
What? The lamest reason not to loot, though.
Well, it's just like chaos. And also, it's not. Now, are we talking about Walmart?
Sure.
In that case, I'm like.
No, Target, actually. I'm going to make this a little more interesting
for you.
Yeah,
well, that's like, I definitely don't think it's cool to loot, Dick and Jane, Dick's Sporting Good. I don't mean that. A mom and pop place.
Before they split up. Your team, Jane.
Always. But I also I think if you're looting like a huge corporation that has write-offs for, what do they call it? The loss that occurs.
You know that
I'll turn a blind eye.
you know that artist I was working with the other day, and the mom was here.
Yeah,
We were talking about shoplifting. I forget how it came up,
cool.
but
Was that you trying to like connect with the youth and be like, I'm cool and I know about shoplifting?
no, it was. I can't remember how it came up, but I have my one shoplifting story where I was very young and I shoplifted one of those plastic guards that went on a Swatch watch. The alarms went off. The alarms weren't for me. They were for a tag on my mom's clothing, but I learned a lesson not
Was
to ever
your mom
shoplift.
also shoplifting?
Whoa, what a twist that would have been. But
Whoa.
she didn't even know I did it.
But your mom also, like your mom shoplifting would truly be, she put something in her somewhere and forgot about it.
Yeah,
Your
for
mom
sure.
would never be like, I'm going to steal this shirt.
Correct.
Unless she was.
Okay.
In which case I kind of like, I'm like, woo.
Well, this gets to the thing that we were all talking at lunch, and the mom of this artist was saying, maybe she was saying that a bunch of her friends were shoplifting. And I said, oh my gosh, when I got to college, I didn't grow up near a mall in high school. The closest mall was an hour and a half away. Mm-hmm. But when I got to college, I knew a lot of girls that shoplifted and a lot of stories of them saying like, oh yeah, in high school, all of us shoplifted.
It's almost a rite of passage.
Right. Where like, I think adolescent boys, if they were shoplifting, it was you were shoplifting CDs or cigarettes. And if you were a girl, you were shoplifting clothes. But I think the shoplifting for girls was much more rampant in that time. It was just surprising to me that you ladies shoplift so much.
Well, I know you're painting this horrific picture of me and you're a saint on high about the looting, but I never shoplifted and would have never. And in fact...
You denounce it.
Yeah, but also of all the crime, I mean, I just have a real different view of crime now. Like, if someone takes a lip smackers and, I'm just like, there are people, this gets into all of the like, look, a girl takes a lip smackers and she's in huge trouble or whatever. And, sorry to make it about this, but like all of the violent crimes committed against women and how the justice system is so stacked against women. And even when there is justice, it's not nearly enough and all of that stuff. So I'm like, girls, do you? But when I found out years after we had moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I worked at that restaurant called Rodeo Bar.
Yeah.
And it's now defunct. And like, don't hold me, I'm not saying anything legally binding here, but I found out later everyone was skimming money, like stealing.
Oh, yeah. So
as a server and, I never did. And I also felt a little bit like out of the club. And also like, why did
no one tell you how to do it?
No one told me, or no one was like, hey, you can.
Yeah, because, let's be honest. Look at
I
you.
wouldn't have done it.
Look at you, though.
But I would have liked to have been invited.
You're a sweet Midwest-looking girl.
This is like, should be the title of my
life,
book,
your memoir.
Which is, I'm not coming, but I'd like to be invited.
I'm not coming, but I'd like to be invited.
Like, I don't like to go do things, but it hurts my feelings when I'm not invited.
That's not true. You are always going to the things.
Well, there's certain
I don't
things
like to go to do things, but I would like to be invited. That should be my memoir.
You know what I don't really like to do anymore?
What?
I don't like myself for this, but I don't really like going to concerts.
Oh,
it
sure.
has to be like a massive, we were talking about AC/DC or U2 or something like that where it's, I don't know, going to Alanis was incredible. Some big, I'm naming all these like throwback things. I would have loved to have gone to Tay-Tay. Like a big event, but I still would have had to like prepare myself for it. And like, this is a huge thing I'm going to do. And we went to the Stromae concert, which was incredible, even though I thought we were going to die on the balcony because it was bouncing so much.
Yeah.
But when friends of mine always so generously are like, hey, I got tickets to blah, blah, blah. Do you want to come?
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. But it's just it's such a shit show getting to places, the getting in, you're standing there, it's loud. Like, now I like little, we went to see Maddie Ross and Illuminati hotties. That was different because it felt manageable and we know them. We got to hear your music and it was incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't like going to like concerts really. And I think that's your fault.
You think it's my fault?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think in New York, and maybe you can say the same thing about comedy shows.
Uh-huh.
We went to see so much music because you were in music and you were also playing a lot of shows back then.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I OD'd on it.
I think I understand what you're saying. And I think I was very much in your shoes until I took our daughter to see Billie Eilish. And then I had the epiphany of like, oh, this is what this is about. Seeing it through the lens of a kid and being tuned back into like current pop culture and seeing the fandom for something like that. It was so cool. So I like going to shows if I really like the band. That's really good. Although that can sometimes be disappointing too.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Well, you took our son to see CG5.
Not that example doesn't make any sense right here.
Okay.
But go on if you want to talk trash about CG5.
Well, like nothing against him. He seems like a lovely Mormon boy, but our son, and I think it's like taking the 8-year-old boy demographic by storm.
Sure.
And so our son wanted to go. Teddy's first concert is Billie Eilish. Otis is CG5.
Sure.
But it was not the right venue for it because there were tons of kids and it's like standing
Yeah, it was like
only.
a rock venue for
So
8-year-olds. It made no sense.
You had to hold him, our 8-year-old child, for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I think he had a great time.
Yeah, I think so.
But for you, it was not a pleasant experience.
And I don't think it was as magical for him as Billie Eilish was for our daughter.
Sure.
But I like to see stuff that I
couldn't have seen that coming. Oh, carry on.
I like seeing stuff that I like or something that's like really of the moment. Maybe I don't completely understand it, but if it's like of the moment and good, it's pretty magical to be in an environment like that with crazy fans because it is like a communal experience, which is interesting. So I'm down in that regard. But yeah, in general, I was listening to, I can't think of the name of it, but Tim Heidecker's podcast with from Tim and Eric. But he was talking. I can't even believe he like told this story on the podcast, but it was so funny. And he's like, should I say this or should I not? But he gets invited to go see LCD Sound System by the main guy from LCD Sound System.
Okay. I too was invited to that concert.
By who? That's great. So he goes. He says he gets there too early. What am I thinking? I got to listen to all these opening bands. No offense to the opening bands. Then he's looking around and he's in the VIP section. And he said, and I realized I'm not going to stay here for the entire concert. And then he thought, well, if I'm not going to be here for the entire time, like I'm not going to go see the main guy after the show, I can leave whenever. And that, like, we've had that experience.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I think that's freeing. Like such a middle-aged freeing situation where it's like, oh, we're leaving right now because it doesn't matter if I stay or not stay.
To me, staying for a full concert is a failure. Like, there's no world where I am staying. I went to see this incredible show at Largo, and I was invited. This was over a year ago. I was invited by a very good friend who is also a celebrity, and she knew the people performing, and so we were going to stay afterwards. And I recognized that for a lot of people, that would be very exciting.
Yeah.
I was like, I leaned over when I felt like the show was kind of getting to its close.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to get out of here.
Nothing
and
more.
When everything, and she was like, are you sure you don't want it? And I was like, nah. And I didn't leave early. That's rude. But because this was like a show at Largo. But as soon as like the applause started, I was out of there.
Was she with anyone else?
No, it's just the two of us.
So then you left her on her lonesome to like go backstage.
Yes. For her, this was also like, I didn't know if it was going to be like she's one of 60 people talking to this person and how long we have to wait. And as soon as you enter that phase of things, it's so much harder to peel yourself out anyway. But at a concert, at a baseball game, at any sort of event like that, I get such a thrill out of leaving first. I don't know why. It's like it's a gift that you can fabricate for yourself out of life.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the backstage of it all too. We've both been backstage many times.
Brag.
People don't want you there.
No.
After the show, you're fucking... Now, there might be some anomalies that people like it.
Oh, my friend's here. I mean, you and I have both performed a different situation where people come backstage to say hi, and it's like, that's different from being like a big shot performer and having like all of these kind of people there, and it's an obligation.
Right.
And it's both ways.
You're standing backstage with all the other people that want to say hi, and everyone's kind of waiting for their moment to say hi. So everyone's awkwardly standing around. I hate it. It's not for me.
So that's why you gotta get out early.
I like it.
Speaking on this, though, now Los Angeles is like, we live in a neighborhood. We love it. And there's so much to do here. There's so much culture. There's so much nature. And we have access to so much. And yet it is so easy to just stay in your little bubble, in your little pocket, and in our case, in our house.
Yeah,
and
that's so nice.
it is. Now, the other fact of things is like a lot of stuff is very expensive. So, I feel like when times were a little different for us and things were more flush, it was easier to go do all these things and stuff like that and justify it. Now we have to be a little bit more picky.
Oh, can you imagine if we could go out to eat whenever we wanted? That'd be fun.
I can't imagine it because we were that way for a while, But also I have enjoyed kind of hibernating and, there's been... as we were at our friend's house last night talking about, it's been a rough year, especially for people in this industry here. And, but there have been so many silver linings and I totally feel that. Having said all of that, the other night, I was coming home from something.
Mahjong?
No, art class. So this was last week. And you wanted me to pick up takeout.
Yeah.
And I went to pick up takeout, and like the street that this restaurant was on, and it was a Saturday night, is blocked off for some kind of like festival thing happening. And it was so lively.
Yeah.
And there are all these people. So this was at like 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. All these families out and about, milling about with like ice cream cones and going to dinner and like cute people on dates and... there are all these bars open and their doors are open and there are like the clapboards out on the sidewalk. And I thought, we're so buried in our house. Yeah. I don't even know that this is happening. And it was so energizing and delightful. And I was just picking up food, but I thought, we should do this. I think we should get out. It's so fun. There's music.
If we were in a situation where we could afford that too, I think it would be a nice tradition to go out to dinner with the family.
Yes.
Once a week.
Yes.
Like Friday nights we go out and get a little ice cream after. How fun would that be?
You know what? I think that that's on the horizon. I'm feeling, for no reason, suddenly very hopeful that things are going to lighten up for us in the like work and financial department. So let's put that on our dream board. Great. It's out there. But anyway, yes, it was very fun to just be in the mix out there. And I would love to do that and take the kids out. Now, we do a lot with our kids. I don't want it to seem like we're hermits, We go to soccer games. Oh my God, watch a lot of TV. They swing on our creaky swing set in the backyard.
Tell us how bored they are, and then they go watch more TV.
No, we do soccer games. We do tennis lessons. We do... Those are
and watch TV. Those are the three things. and homework.
Hey, we went to the Huntington, which is a place in Pasadena.
Oh, yeah,
and
that was
had
pretty
a
cool.
lovely day. And it's such a special place. Now, we really love this place called Descanso.
Oh, love Descanso.
Now, I think so. Descanso is kind of this beautiful gardens in outside of Los Angeles, also
In La Cañada.
La Cañada.
Is that right? La Crescenta or La Cañada?
La Cañada, Flint Ridge, and it's more kind of it's all taken very well care of. And there's these beautiful Japanese gardens, and there's this incredible old oak grove, and there are the camellia gardens.
It's a rose garden. It feels more organic, though.
It's more organic. It feels a little more wild, and
There you
it's
go.
so beautiful. Huntington Gardens are like the estates of this very wealthy old family, the Huntingtons, that they've now generously turned into a like public, you have to pay space, but there are libraries, there's artwork. The Blue Boy
Famous painting.
famous painting is, so there's incredible stuff. But
all those paintings were the same size in that one room?
Yes.
Was that like a
And
typical
massive.
size back then?
It must have been.
Because that was really interesting.
And also being now an oil painterist, I was like,
Painterist?
they're huge. So I'm wondering how they did it. They must have been on ladders.
Okay, you said that there. I'm sorry. And it's so dumb. Like, they either use ladders or like scaffolding. Haven't you ever seen like scaffolds set up in an art studio and people painting and stuff?
Cool. So
I was just like, of all the things, how did they paint on a 6-foot canvas? That was what was blowing your mind. And you turned me like, they must have ladders or something. It just, I don't know. It's wild. That's the thing.
Okay, fair enough. But the gardens of the Huntington Gardens, there's this unbelievable Chinese gardens and Japanese gardens.
I'd never seen that before. That was incredible.
The Chinese gardens is truly magical.
It's wild.
Now, but everything feels much more manicured
that's the name.
and I don't know, less wild. Everything feels like it's in its place. And I feel so lucky that we have access to both of those.
Yeah.
So we did do something with our kids. We took them out and
That's
they
true.
loved it.
Okay, can we pivot? Can I tell you about something very embarrassing that happened to me?
I'd love nothing more to hear it.
Okay. You and I are doing a little housekeeping on our website stuff in general right now.
Yes.
We're fixing up the server. We're doing things. We have old...
Tell me you didn't embarrass yourself with Gabe and Andrea at Duck
Oh,
Brigade.
yeah, big time.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay, well, shout out to Andrea and Gabe at Duck Brigade Design. They're the most wonderful people.
You're making this much more real for me again.
I'm
Okay.
so embarrassed already.
You're gonna
What
be-
the fuck did you do?
You're going to be humiliated, actually.
Oh, no.
But it's all my fault. You're not implicated in this.
I know, but just by
unless
virtue
they
of being
thought they
married to you, it's embarrassing enough.
So part of what we're doing in this housekeeping is cleaning up any old stuff that we don't need, like URLs. Now, over the years, we've bought a lot of URLs.
Oh, no.
Okay?
Oh,
That's
no.
like website names.
We all know what URLs are.
Okay, so anyways, they send me this email.
Is it all the stupid shit we've fought over the years?
Hold on.
No. Oh, no.
They send an email with some details about what we're working on the project, and then there's a list of URLs, and they're all, in an email when you get a URL and it's linked. So they're either, is it blue before you click them and then like purple pink when you do click them? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's a list of them, and they're all those blue links. And then one of them is not linked to, okay?
So it's black.
It's just regular text. Like they didn't attach a link to it. But the reason they had this link, they were being nice to be like, check all these out and let us know which ones to do this with, which ones to do that with, basically.
And these are all URLs that we have owned at some point.
Yeah, so I have drrosenrosen.com, right?
Yeah. I have elizabethlame.com.
Exactly. Now, we've bought and made some random websites over the years.
Yes, I'm thinking of some that I would be embarrassed about now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think you know about one website that I made that was a prank to my Rocket League buddies.
Oh, no.
So I'm looking down the list, and one of them grabs your eyes because of all the blue. There's one that's black on the list.
Oh, no.
And it's nobigdicks.live. I'll say that again in case you missed it.
No big dicks.
Nobigdicks.live. So I'm horrified.
No,
I'm horrified.
Andy.
I'm horrified. And it's extra horrifying
Also,
that
it's
that
no
they
big
didn't
dicks.
hyperlink it because they were like, we can't even see what this is. This seems so bad, right?
What is it?
Well, if you were to go there, it's gone now. It was just a picture of BDT, like from college. It was couldn't have been more
that's
okay.
good.
And it happened because
By the way, I mean, BDT's whole thing is Big Dick
Travis. Now during Rocket
we
League,
have confirmation he's well endowed.
okay. Okay.
We all know.
Okay. I think we need to take it easy on that too.
Why?
It's just been years of it to him, and it's But
you get to make a website that says nobigdicks.live?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I don't exactly remember the origin, but it happened in one game where we were basically we just started saying no big dick. I can't remember, but it became such a thing that I even made a drop that like I hit a button and it would be like no big dicks live, and there would be like air horns like on a goal or something. It was really some dumb thing.
Okay.
And then I got on where I get our URLs, and for $2.99 I could buy this ridiculous thing. It was $2.99. And then I made a website and it linked to a picture of him. And then I would just spam our text thread, and no one ever clicked on it. And it was infuriating because no one would
And were
click
you
on
like,
it.
will anyone click on this?
I don't even forget how I was hyping it up because...
Or do you think they clicked on it and, oh no, do you think that they clicked on it and saw what it is and thought it was so stupid that they just didn't even speak to it?
No, I think they weren't clicking on
spamming?
it because they didn't want to like click to like a bad
Porn
porno
site.
site that would do... I don't even know what they were
Like
scared of.
micro, because you think that it's going to be live videos of like micro penises. Why would you own that? I'm so embarrassed. What did you say to Andrea and Gabe?
Okay, so
God.
I felt like it warranted a phone call.
Ew. No,
hold
no
on.
one wants to get that phone call.
No, just hold on.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of information in this email, and I didn't even know how to respond. So I wrote to Gabe, hey, are you free to hop on a call to go over this?
No.
And
Oh
then-
my God, no.
Hold on. So I don't know whether to lead with no big dicks not live or
Are you
when
free to hop on a phone call is what you wrote to address this?
Do you want to know exactly what I said?
No, I don't care.
Okay,
It's
great.
all bad.
I mean, it's all sort of like that. No, but they were asking other questions. It wasn't just what's going on with nobigdicks.live at all.
I know, but if you're going to address that, it's like a text and be like, thanks so much for this, you guys. I am so embarrassed that there is a link there, and I think you know which one it is.
Oh, that's good.
That was a prank I was doing with my Rocket League guys. So sorry you had to see that. Totally forgot about it. And I promise you, like, it was, please don't think badly of me. It was totally a joke with my friends.
I think that's really good. I think you might have gone a little far on the, like, I promise it wasn't bad.
Okay, well, I haven't, I mean, this is off the cuff. It wasn't, hi, ceasing HR here. Can we hop on a phone call? Yikes.
Anyways, so we get on a phone call and we start going over the issues. And then, I don't know, in a lull in the conversation or something, I said, oh, and by the way, the nobigdicks.live, that was a prank for my buddy Travis in Rocket League.
You have
Stop it.
You have like multiple pieces of white spit on your beard.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, but and Gabe knew who BDT was because BDT actually made a site with them.
Oh, cool.
And Gabe was like, "Oh, that's so funny. I know BDT." And he just kind of left it at that. So I think he believed me.
And you hope he passed the info along to Andrea.
Oh. Do you think it's worth a follow-up email?
Hi, Andrea. Just following up. Can we hop on a phone call?
Don't know if you've spoken to Gabe about this. Anyways,
Lordy.
yeah, no big dicks.live. And I can't even, I'm like a little bummed that I can't completely remember the origin. That like it, whatever.
Well, of all the things to lose sleep on, I don't think you need to worry too much about that.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Cleared it up.
cleared it up.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm not renewing that URL. If anyone wants to grab it, it's probably available now.
Nice. Okay, can we talk about the doghouse?
Yes, I want to be very careful about how we talk about this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Here's what I will say about this. I am rewatching The White Lotus season 2. It's great. And this is my way of getting off of horrific true crime stuff. And on Max, I get an ad for this show. It's a British show called The Doghouse,
The Doghouse.
UK.
Yeah.
And there's a Christmas episode. And I am very eager to be in the Christmas spirit. And I also thought it's about this rescue center in the UK. And it's tales of the rescue dogs getting adopted and their histories. And it's perfect, I thought, for us as a family to watch.
Yeah.
And so we start the Christmas episode. It's
Yes.
very festive and like this family's coming in. And they really get into the backstory of like why the family's adopting the dog.
Yes.
And we're hearing, of course, very heartstrings tugging stories of also like these dogs have sadly been oftentimes abandoned or, they, as many rescue dogs, have tough origin stories. Adopt, don't shop. And so, it's very sweet. And they're trying to pair the right dog with the people coming in.
Yes.
And so the first story is this family and they're wanting a playmate for their daughter because they have 2 twin sons who already have each other as a playmate. And so that's like, oh, it's a sweet story. It's Christmas. What a great Christmas gift for this daughter. The second story is a nurse whose children now are grown and out of the house. She gets a little lonely and her job is really hard at the NHS. She wants to come home to some puppy love. And she gets this pair of puppies and it's very sweet. The third story is 2 people, and I don't know that I've ever loved a man on TV more. Like the most kind-hearted sweetheart of a man and his adult daughter coming. And what I wasn't prepared for was the tragic story that they were going to tell, and they did in fact tell, on this
Dog show.
Christmas
episode
of a dog show, dog rescue, which was that his wife, so tragically died by suicide after really struggling with mental illness that set in because of menopause.
Yeah.
Now, we have talked about suicide with one of our children because it affected one of their friends. And so we had that conversation. But we haven't yet had that conversation with the other kid. And maybe this would have been, there was too much detail in the telling of the story. That was the other thing of what went down in their loss. And I wasn't prepared to have this be the way that we're leading into the conversation.
You weren't prepared watching a dog show Christmas special to talk about this? It wasn't on your to-do list with this episode?
I was like, wow, they really go deep. This was like one of the darkest stories I've seen played out on quote unquote like reality TV.
But done in a very it was done in a very sweet, tasteful way too. Like it wasn't.
Well, I mean, it's just them being so emotionally vulnerable and honest. And it's the truth. Like they wanted this, puppy companion, dog companion for a man who was trying to pick up the pieces of his life after his beloved wife and the beloved mother of his daughter, who is an adult and doesn't live with him, has shockingly passed away after, as he said, her mental health took a steep drop.
Yeah.
Now, that's the other thing. I've been talking a lot about perimenopause and all of that stuff.
So we're extra clued into it the second. That was how it led off. And we're like, whoa, where's this going?
Well, I've never heard that, though.
Yeah.
I've never heard someone from menopause, like from the effects of menopause and the hormones, having such a sharp drop in mental health. It was like, in a weird way, I feel like this was important for me to hear because it's like, yeah, you need to take this stuff seriously.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, no one talks about how menopause, this is kind of a new frontier, I think, for my generation. We were just talking about this. Like, mothers, I don't have one, obviously, but I think that mothers in general, to our mothers, weren't talking about menopause and you need to have hormone therapy. And the conversation amongst my kind of peers right now, not necessarily in my circle, but online, on Reddit, on Instagram and stuff, is that doctors are not taking menopause and perimenopause seriously enough. There's not enough research. There aren't enough answers. There's not the education around it that there needs to be. And it's a very big part of women's lives. Mm-hmm. And so hearing this on this show, I'm like, oh yeah, it needs to be taken really, really seriously, and you need to know what to look out for, and you need to know what treatment options are available. And if it could happen to this woman, it can happen to anyone. Mm-hmm. And so, because they describe her as like this joyful, like the glue of the family. I mean, it's similar to how I think I would be described, I would hope. So anyway, it was an unexpected.
This is what I'll say about the show, and I want to watch other episodes because do they just go this deep with everybody, or do British people just keep it this real?
Right.
Because even with the story of the family that had twins that, let's say they're 10, and then there's a daughter, let's say 6, they hammer the story of like
the daughter wants to play with her
because
brothers.
These boys won't play with her. And like you could kind of leave it at that, like that statement, but they keep hammering it. And it's like,
they showed
whoa,
a clip of the girl
okay.
going, I love you guys, to her brothers, and they don't even respond to her.
Yeah. It's like, and also with this tragic story, if I'm producing a dog show, in my mind, it would be like, yes, it's relevant that this dad is getting a dog because he lost his wife. But that's kind of all the info that I need to hear watching a dog show. But they go deep.
They did. They tell the story of the day and how it happened.
And it didn't feel tonally off with the show.
No, and it was
but it was jarring for us.
It was very authentic too. I mean, I thought it was so brave of him to share this story, and it almost seemed like it was appropriate if you're him going to adopt a dog on Christmas, and it had been a year since his wife had passed. It almost seemed like it was important and cathartic that he share this with the people who are pairing him with this adopted dog, and they also nailed it. Like they brought out the perfect dog for him. Mm-hmm. You could see him light up. This man, I wanted to like reach through the TV screen and give him a hug. He just seemed like such a sweetheart. And you could see how much pain he was carrying. And so it was, I mean, I wept twice during the story of what they went through. Now, we did...
Last night you wept?
I got teary-eyed last night, but the first time we watched it, I wept.
But we skipped over the details. Well, you and I kind of knew the details.
We knew what was coming, and we fast-forwarded because we could sense, and I think... our older child also sensed what was going on, but again, I wasn't prepared to have that conversation in that context with our other kid.
Yeah.
Now, I do think it's an important conversation to have with kids. And I think that I wouldn't have had it with our other child had it not been like relevant to their life, because it's a weird thing to introduce that this concept exists for humans
Yeah.
to a child.
Yeah.
And my fear, of course, is like you're saying, I don't know. My fear, of course, in talking about it with a kid is you're introducing the idea that this is an option down the road.
Okay.
And so I think that the conversation has to be, you and I really talked about how we're going to talk about it with our other kid.
Yeah.
And that, of course, not to stigmatize mental illness and to present it in a way of like this person needed help and it's not that they're bad, and it's even though it's causing pain, it's that unfortunately they couldn't see how they needed help and how things would get better, but it always can.
Sure.
And no matter, my dad actually talked to me about this. Did your parents ever have this conversation with you?
I don't remember, but there was something that happened at my school at one point where it was relevant, and I don't know. I feel like I learned about it at a pretty young age, but I don't remember the conversation with my parents.
My dad, when I was like a teenager, we were watching something on TV. Maybe it was, I don't think it was this, but it wasn't, obviously. But I said, why do people do that? And he said, kind of the same thing, like things they can't see that things would get better. And he said, promise me though, that you will know that they will always get better. Now, I feel like there could have been more to it, but just the knowing that no matter how bad things feel, there is always hope that it will feel better. And so I want to, the conversation we're having with our kids is things will always feel better eventually. Everything is temporary. And also, if you ever feel hopeless in a way where any of those thoughts start to swirl, you need to come talk to us immediately, and you need to get help immediately, and we will help you. And that's part of the conversation of like, you can always come home to where we are no matter what.
Yeah.
No questions asked. If you want us to not even talk to you, we won't. Like, you can always just kind of turn off your life if you need to. That's always an option outside of, making a choice that can't be undone.
Right.
It's a hard conversation to have with a child.
I'm really wondering the cultural differences in talking about it for British people versus us. Because there wasn't a warning at the top of that episode,
and
which in America you would have,
family show. Like it's
very much a family show. Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't see that in America, I don't think.
No. We do need to watch more episodes of the show because I'm curious if they just, I'm curious.
I want to. I'm like, what if this show becomes our like parenting guiding light of all the intense stuff in life? There's an episode that's about cancer, and there's an episode, all this stuff that has
getting your period.
Yes.
I got my period.
Little Shelley got her period. And what's the story there of why she needs a dog?
I don't want to go too dark.
Well, maybe we need to go darker.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm going too dark in my head.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is it that she was swimming and a shark came? And so now she needs it.
That's in the world I was in for sure. There weren't the shark involved, but that's good. Is that a real fear that if you're swimming, if you get your period, you're more attractive to sharks?
It has been for me.
Really?
I'm sure every girl has thought that. If you're out in the sea. Yeah. I'm not going out in the ocean with my period. Are you kidding me?
Have we ever talked about this before? I'm in like a deja vu moment.
Oh, really?
When people are in like South Africa and they go on those shark diving things, if any of them are like, sir, I'm on my period today. Is that going to be an issue?
Yeah.
Do you think they ask that?
But also in some of those, they like are bringing like massive chunks of fish meat that is bleeding out.
Chum.
Chum. Yeah, and they throw it out there. Yes. Yes. Something to think about. If you're having one of the events, like a menopausal event,
Would you ever call one of your
perimenopausal.
heavier menstruations chummy?
Ew, gross. But, you know, I have talked about the one that just like,
It was chummy.
oh my God, it's worth saying again. This was the one that sent me to my doctor and I think really drove home I'm in perimenopause, which was I was on set and in Vancouver, and it was a 30-minute drive from the hotel, and like a van or a driver comes and picks you up and takes you to set. So it's not like
You can go whenever
you can't leave. You're also at work, and there are 200 people working to, you know, whatever. You're there. You had the brilliant idea of why didn't I go talk to wardrobe, which I think I was just so out of my mind I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But I luckily was wearing black jeans and kind of a sweater jacket. So luckily I was dressed the right way that day. But I went to the bathroom. I felt like a gush of something and I was like, huh. And then I kept working because I don't really tend to have strong periods. I went to the bathroom and I had bled through everything and my jeans and like halfway down the thighs of my jeans.
I can feel it, and I hate that feeling.
And it was so
for you.
gross. And I came back and I did tell, I was alarmed. And I told the like female scriptie there, I said, look, if I go missing, if people are like, wait, where is Elizabeth? I'm probably in the bathroom. And if you call 911, they need to go right to my vagina. Don't waste time going, what is going on? She's passed out. Is her breathing? No, it's my go in my pants.
Okay.
That's what's happening. That's where you need to stop things.
You're bleeding out.
Bleeding out. And so, I mean, I was legitimately like kind of nervous. I thought, what is going on? But then I just kind of walked around and let it dry out. And I spent eight hours. Now, this is a part I don't know I've told you. You're not going to like this. I had plans to get a drink at the bar with someone, a woman, at, I don't know, I felt like it was important to tell you that, at the hotel after filming wrapped, which was, it was a late night. It was like 10 p.m. And I went and I thought, okay, I can go up to my room and like change, but then am I showering? And I don't know, I'd already like gotten so accustomed to this
No.
that I went.
Say it ain't so. You went in with your chummed up jeans to the bar?
And I had a drink with a friend.
What the fuck? How did you cover it up?
With my sweater jacket. I was covered up all day. But it was dried out at this point and I had become one with it, you know, like.
Oh, that sounds uncomfortable.
But the option was to go upstairs and like fully shower and be late. And the idea of going up to just change clothes and put new pants on, and also I'm on vacation. I'm not like doing laundry the next day, onto my bloody body was not an option. So I just went with it. You know, some people free bleed.
What's that?
Runners. Have you ever seen the marathoners who are just bleeding?
I think I usually just watch the poopy ones.
What's that?
It's when marathon runners shit themselves.
On purpose?
I don't know about that.
Well, meaning, I know that they're not like, I want this to happen, but meaning it's not like they've just lost control. It's like they have to poop, but they don't want to stop and take the time because they're going for a time, right? They're not going to stop and go find a bathroom and fuck up their whole thing.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not like, none of the videos, there's not like a comment that's like, actually, this was me. And I knew this was like, I just let it go on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have
Free bleeders, yep.
free bleeding videos too?
Yeah.
Okay. My algorithm just changed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fun stuff. Well, this has been a delight.
We're ending on this?
Well, do you have something else?
Gosh.
I had fun today.
I had a lot of fun, but the end is...
Oh, I want to bring something up. I had a checkout guy recently. He was real chatty at a grocery store. Mm-hmm. I was helping bag.
Oh, were you at Trader Joe's?
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate that dance so much.
Well, this time, so I had one recently where like me helping bag was not an option.
Why?
Because the way she was scanning and putting it into the bags, like the stuff wasn't coming down for me to jump in.
Oh, so she was doing it.
Yeah.
I like that style.
He was doing it too, but this guy was real chatty and real friendly and was asking me about blah, blah, blah and talking about what I'm buying, you know. Uh-huh. And something came up about like my kids liking to eat something or not eat something.
What was the thing?
I don't remember, and I wish I had more details about this. That's not even really that important because what he said was, well, how old are your kids now? 30, 40? And we were like chatting and laughing, and I was like, no, 8 and 10. He was like, oh, okay. But
how old was this person?
Okay, well, he was probably 50, 55.
What?
And
is this the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Well, I'm trying to make it not the worst thing, but it almost feels like, is it worse than my parents dying?
Wait, he was only 50?
55, maybe late 50s. Now, I do think it would have been worse if he was like 20. Because I'm wondering...
No, because then you're just stupid.
Well, I'm wondering, was he trying to be funny? Or does he really think that I am at least 60?
No, you wouldn't have to be 60. You'd have to be 50. Maybe he has kids that are 30. Maybe he had kids in his 20s.
But you're making it worse because
how am I making it worse?
You're saying he meant it sincerely. He said 30, 40. Now,
who would make a joke? It is well known that most people, okay, don't like to be
aged.
It is even more well known not to gender it, but that's a much bigger no-no with women, right? You just don't do that.
I know, but was he saying 30 and realized like the joke wouldn't land? Because could be, I mean, I guess it's possible given my biology. I could have had a baby at 15, but then he went to 40 to be like, I'm making a joke here.
Wait, but he said, what were the words that he said?
Let me tell
30 or 40?
I need to tell you a few other things. Yes, he said 30, 40. I had my like hair, I think I had worked out, so my hair was back in like a ponytail, kind of like sweaty. Uh-huh. Not looking, I have no makeup on.
Okay.
I'm wearing like exercise stuff. I think I'd come from Pilates.
Okay.
So I look like, and I'm getting a little bit of gray around the temples, which I actually don't mind, but I'm like, is that aging me significantly?
No.
Do I read as 55 to 65?
No.
Now, here's the other story I wrote in my head to kind of make this okay. He seemed very happy and jolly, but is this his secret like weapon against like life and these motherfuckers who are coming in here, and like he has kind of a sadistic need to like seem really happy and jolly, but like this is the way, like, is this his go-to thing of like hurting people's feelings?
Whoa.
Like burying it in.
And he's constantly... Now, if that is what he's doing, did you instantly have a reaction when he then like went 40? Like, did he get the joy of potentially poking the bear?
Well, I had the reaction I tend to have in these surreal moments where later I look back on and I'm like really upset about it, which is trying to make it okay for him. Like, I don't want him to think that he offended me in this honest mistake.
Especially because he was being so jolly and
friendly. So I was like, oh no, they're 8 and 10. I wish I had said, how old do you think I am?
But then what would have happened?
Then I would have gotten some more answers.
But it would have gotten awkward potentially.
Fine. I would love to. I wish he would have said, oh no, I was totally kidding. Or like, obviously you're not. Or, I mean, it'd be horrible if he goes, you only have an 8 and 10-year-old? You must have had kids. Was that like via surrogate? Like, how could you, a 65-year-old woman, have 8 and 10-year-olds? Do I look like I'm... Here's my question.
No.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Even in my worst.
Hold on, let me picture that. Okay. I'm here. Go on.
Do I have 40-year-old children?
No.
Okay.
I don't think at your worst, you could even take you out of the 40s of you being in your 40s.
Thank you. Well, last night, our friends who are so lovely and are younger than us said that she would put me at like mid-30s, which I think is her being generous, obviously.
I love it, though, but I think you could definitely pass for mid-30s.
What?
Okay, I don't want you to
You're lying.
No. I don't. Let me be really honest.
Okay.
I don't want you to get up on like a super high horse here.
But
there's not.
I was just told I have 40-year-old children.
I don't think, if I'm being really honest, you could pass for mid-30s every single day.
Sure.
But do you have days? For sure. For sure.
Oh my God. You might just be saying this to be the antidote to that, but I'll take it. That really means a lot. And again, I hate to, I feel like age is the new fat thing where it's like, why is looking older bad? What, we should be able to be the age that we are. And maybe I should live in a world where I'm not offended that he thinks I'm 65 and I take it as a compliment. But,
ew, who wants to live in that world?
Okay. Anyway, thank you. That was tough, though. It was a tough thing that happened.
I do think it's pretty funny if it was on purpose. If he is just this kind of little dickhead.
It's his one little what's a kink that's not sexual? It's one little he gets
off
a thrill, not sexually.
But
he just gets a little rush.
He just thinks it's funny, probably.
How's your day?
It's like a prank phone.
And how old are your kids again? 30, 40?
It's like a prank phone call, sort of. He's but I don't think
it's a little devious.
And you truly think he's 50? What's the oldest this guy could have been?
Late 50s.
Okay, and the youngest he could have been?
50.
Interesting.
Yeah. Tough
stuff.
Okay. Good night.
Good night. Shh.